thought we were strong enough to survive the distance. But maybe, after everything.
The chat opened late at night. She typed that she needed to share something important. I replied that I was listening and asked her to just say it plainly. She wrote that she felt distant and wanted space to breathe. I answered that distance feels different when it arrives without warning. She said work had changed her, that new people made her feel seen. I asked her, does feeling seen require hiding from me? She paused for so long that the little typing bubble vanished. When she returned, she said nothing physical had happened. Yet I told her that yet carries a lot of weight, and I asked her what she wanted. She said she wanted freedom, but without breaking promises. I replied that promises only bend when both hands are holding them. She sent back a laughing emoji that felt sharp, not funny. The next morning she messaged me cheerfully, as if the night before never happened. I decided to match her tone and asked about breakfast plans. She said she was rushing out for meetings and would be late. I just answered with a simple okay and saved the chat. I had a feeling I might need it. Later that day, a new message arrived from a contact I didn't recognize. It just said hello, but with a familiarity that clearly didn't belong to me. I didn't reply. Instead, I took a screenshot. My chest tightened, but I kept my words measured. That evening, she texted, asking why I seemed so quiet. I told her that quiet comes from listening very closely. She asked if I was accusing her of something. I said no, I was asking for honesty, not a defense. She finally admitted there was someone she talked to. Often, I asked if often meant daily. She said that labels made it sound worse than it really was. I replied that labels only appear when clarity is missing. Then she asked the big question, do you trust me? I told her that trust survives truth, but it dies from concealment. She wrote back that she felt judged. I wrote that I felt excluded. The chat stretched on, filled with long messages and carefully chosen words. She tried to explain that she wanted to feel chosen, but without any pressure. I explained that I wanted to feel chosen, but without any competition. Neither of us typed for a long while after that. A message from her arrived saying she needed time alone. I replied that time should come with boundaries. She said boundaries made her feel trapped. I said boundaries are what make a return possible. The next few days passed with polite updates and a thin, fragile warmth between us. I noticed my own replies growing shorter, clearer. One afternoon, she sent a photo from a cafe. Someone was clearly cropped out of the picture. I asked who held the camera. She said it was a friend from work and added a shrug emoji. I replied that honesty shouldn't need gestures. She accused me of being controlling. I answered that consent is what defines freedom, not control. That night, she sent a long, rehearsed, and calm message. She said she wanted to open the relationship, temporarily. I replied that temporary changes often leave permanent marks. She asked if I would consider it for her happiness. I said that happiness built on my silence would never last. She wrote that she felt brave for even asking. I wrote back that bravery also includes hearing the answer no. The typing bubble flickered, then stopped. The next message arrived much later and somehow felt smaller, more vulnerable. She said she had crossed a line and was scared. My first instinct was to ask if she was safe, if she needed help. She said she was safe, but just unsure. I asked her whether she wanted to choose us fully. She said she didn't know how to undo what she had started. I told her that undoing begins with ending the other chat. She said she would try. A full day passed with no new messages from that unknown contact. Then she wrote that she had blocked him and felt relieved. I told her that relief is a good compass to follow. She asked if we could rebuild. I said rebuilding needs two things, transparency and patience. She agreed and was the one to suggest counseling. I agreed too and shared my availability. The tone between us began to soften like the air after a storm has passed. In the weeks that followed, our chats became steadier, warmer. She started sharing her fears without disguises. I started sharing my hurt without blame. We were learning, together, how words can repair when they're used carefully. One evening, she wrote a simple, unconditional apology. I accepted it without reopening old wounds. We made a pact to keep our conversations open and timely. The past slowly stopped interrupting the present. The chat that had begun with a need for distance ended with a shared intention. We chose clarity over shortcuts. We chose respect over cheap thrills. And slowly, our messages became ordinary again, filled with everyday things. I archived the old screenshots but kept the lesson they taught me. She deleted the chats that had tempted her towards secrecy. Trust returned, not overnight, but slowly and honestly. Our phones started resting face down on the table during dinner. The story closed quietly without a grand triumph. It ended with two people choosing to stay and choosing to speak. Peace arrived not as some prize to be won, but as a daily practice. The chat remained open, and for the first time in a long time, it finally felt like home. Thanks for listening to this story. If you've ever been through something similar, know you're not alone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe share this with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next one.